moves it go. Got a very special guest on the show. No, unfortunately, that's not Rob Halford. We had to make do with Henning Pauly, my second favorite bald guy in heavy metal. No, that's not even true. He's not in heavy metal. He's not even close to being my second favorite. Anyway, we're really happy to have him.
How am I not in heavy metal? Have you heard my albums?
That's kind of my point. Yeah, I'm sure, you know what, it'd be really cutting edge stuff on some easy listening stations. But, you know, for those of us who are into metal, it's like, yeah, you were all like,
Don't you see you and me don't know anything goes through life, close your eyes.
well done, Henning. Nice try.
Really?
You know, cue the Bart Simpson, you tried.
I need misery to write.
I can out-metal you any day of the week.
Okay. Yep, keep telling yourself that. Alrighty then. Anyway,
I feel a contest coming on, Glenn.
yeah, this might be at some point. Okay, we'll see. But then again, we don't want to put the audience to sleep. We'll have to see who writes the heavier shit, me or you. Yeah, that might actually be something to look forward to in the future. All right, in the meantime, so we're not even talking about metal at this point, even though, you know, got the whole metal thing going on here.
I was just going to say, the shirt doesn't make the musicians. The skills do.
Oh, absolutely. And the attitude. Metal is a combination of skill and attitude.
No, it's not about attitude. It really isn't. Sebastian
is.
Bach tried to tell me that metal is about attitude. No. Just because you hang out with Lemmy doesn't make you a better musician, or it doesn't make you more metal. If you can pull off a production by yourself or write a fucking song by yourself, then hanging out with Lemmy isn't going to fix that, Mr. Bach. Just saying.
I won't debate that. Hey, I never got to hang out with Lemmy. That doesn't make me less metal. Anyway.
Exactly.
We are here to discuss something actually a little bit different today. We're here to talk about classic rock and classic rock drumming. And, of course, your new course about programming classic rock drums. Why don't you give us a little rundown what that's all about?
It's a course about classic rock drums.
Details, motherfucker.
There's several lessons about classic rock drums in a course that you can buy at spectredigital.com, which sadly is something to do with the man with the hair. For money, you can purchase it. And if you've purchased my everything about complete guide to programming on the drums, I don't even know what it's called, that good course that people say it's really good, then you have the prerequisite because you know my workflow, you know how all that works, and we don't have to go over the key commands again and what a drum editor is and the grid and all that stuff. And if you're in that workflow, but you really, really want the deets on how to sound like the bands from the 70s, whether it's AC/DC and Deep Purple, and The Who, Led Zeppelin, even bands that we don't cover. There's a lot of information in there, and we're presenting it in a very special way that Glenn will tell you about because he actually watched it.
Yeah, I actually did watch a bit of it there, and I gotta say, I was pretty actually excited. You brought in Germany's #1 session drummer to do this. Felix, what's his last name?
Lehrmann.
Okay, Lehrmann. Okay. And I gotta say, yeah, I'm watching this and I'm like, even I'm excited to sit and learn some stuff off this, even though drum programming is completely not my thing. I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of badass. So what's going on is, you know, it's like the concept is, hey, how do we drum in this style? Like, how do we do, like, you know, what would Keith Moon do in this situation? And then Felix, you know, plays it, and Henning's sitting there and basically translating it into Cubase and using all these different drum setups and whatnot. And I got to say, it's pretty interesting watching what's going on and watching Felix play it a couple times, then seeing Henning refine it a little bit more. It's like, okay, this is a great way to make your drum programming suck a whole lot less, especially when you've got a real person demonstrating it for you instead of, just like, kind of guessing. And I think that's where a lot of guys kind of lack in the drum programming is they don't have any real practical example of what to follow.
Either of us couldn't do it by themselves. So I have an idea about shuffle and all that stuff, but how much do I really need to move the grid to do an eighth note shuffle to sound like Deep Purple? And what are the details? Does can't remember the guy's name. Are there
Ian Pace.
2 ghost notes? Yeah, thank you.
That's because I'm more metal than you.
Yes, it's going on, but somehow you
Ghost notes. Continue.
Crom, help me. Yeah, ghost notes. How does he roll into a fill and what's the specific stuff? So I might have a basic idea, but the drummer really has the feel for it. However, the drummer can't teach you that stuff because the drummer can show you the technique on the kit. But does Felix know in a specific percentage what you have to set up your grid to be? No, he doesn't. He can't tell you, oh, that's 65% shuffle.
Right.
Why would he plays it. So he plays it. I try to show how to translate what he does on the grid. And then we talk about the details. Then we go into, wait a second, are you really doing are you doing a drag? Are you doing 2 ghost notes? How far back are these? And then he plays it again. I move. And then he's like, well, try 7% shuffle. No, try 9. And then we see if it makes a difference. And then he said, well, for example, for AC/DC, really killer tips. To get the immediacy and the push, move the whole hi-hat a little bit ahead of the grid. And it doesn't really have to be necessarily shuffle. It can be very straight, but based on, compared to the whole kit, move it a little bit forward, but then the snare a little bit back. So you've got the hi-hat pushing, but the snare kind of giving you that weight a little bit back. And as soon as you do that, all of a sudden, there's the AC/DC.
I completely agree. I'm like, this is what gets lost on so many people is that when you have a real drummer playing, it's not everything is on the grid all the time. A little bit of push and a little bit of pull can really make a giant difference. Could you do us a favor? Could you roll us that clip right there and show us exactly what you're talking about?
Little accents in it, and actually it doesn't go static. It's more like, and it really pushes the whole groove. In general, AC/DC is not about open hi-hats. It's really...
That might be enough.
Yeah, I would even do less.
Okay.
Like 7 or so, yeah.
The pro is at work. Don't do 10%, do 7. I can totally hear the difference. Okay, let's see if Felix is right.
That makes sense.
So that offbeat, that has to be louder. That and.
Yeah, probably. But in general, the ghost notes could all be a little bit quieter for my taste.
So I'm going down here.
But you're absolutely right with that.
I'm amazing myself that this shit's possible. And I'm playing around with different articulations here now.
This is cool that you're teaching this stuff because I think this really gets lost, and especially in the modern metal end of things. If guys, I see guys screaming about it. Oh, the kick and snare aren't at exactly at the same time. That drummer sucks. It's like, no, that's how the fucking drummer plays. I get that all the time. I see that working with a lot of drummers in here. Even they'll come in, they're kicking their snare or kind of flamming ever so slightly, and it's like, You got to leave that shit in, and because that's the sound of the drummer. That's kind of going to give them their own signature sound. And the fact that you guys are actually teaching this, I think, is great because that shit gets lost so fucking easily.
Well, the drummer feels certain things, and Felix, of course, knows all these things and feels it and plays it. He's one of the most booked studio drummers there is in Germany and probably further. He plays with the Martin Miller Band, and you've probably seen he's got millions of hits on YouTube. He does loads of killer stuff and loads of pop things. Sarah Connor is a multi-platinum selling artist. He plays for her. He's done for the Flower Kings, a prog band from, I think, Sweden or Denmark. I mean, he has the experience.
Right.
And he knows, of course, when we talk about Bonham, he's studied this stuff. He can play it. So then it's my job to go and look at it and say, well, that's fine. And he could teach it to a drummer, but I'm teaching what he's doing to the non-drummers that have to work on a grid. And together we refine it. So the whole course starts with a little introduction, and then I go a little bit of into recap for the people that have watched the course, but maybe they don't want the original course. Just a quick recap over my key commands and what I do so you can follow around, because during the course I don't really go into that exactly. And then lesson number 2 is sound. But you don't want like a super funky, thin...
Absolutely
super
not.
detailed one.
No. We want a lot of meat in the cymbals as well.
So let's look at a couple of things that we can do with a kit to make it, more open, more roomy, more classic rock. So we talk about what defines the classic rock sound. Kit pieces, but more so than kit pieces, the room, what were they doing, how much space is there, because actually from the 70s to the 80s there was a huge difference. All of a sudden the big room sounds and the boomy stuff went away. In the 80s it was here. There was zero reverb. You heard the direct mic and that was it. I'm talking about the 80s because that might be something that's coming up at some later point.
I thought the 70s were all about the tight rooms. The 80s, we got into like the gated snare reverbs, that kind of stuff. And then the Phil Collins talk back, big fucking boom, 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 that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but when you're looking at Steve Gadd, you're looking at Jeff Porcaro from Toto, you're looking at those studio drummers. That gated drums, yeah, especially on the rockier side, but you listen to this stuff and it's bone dry. The reason being, and we go into this more so in the 80s rock course, because they all of a sudden had more tracks. When you have more tracks, you can go to the tightly mic'd drum kit, and they were playing around with the isolation. Whereas in the late 60s and early 70s, how many tracks did you have? You didn't have 24.
No, you had probably 16 if you were lucky.
So look at, the big sound when the levee breaks. What was that? That was a room mic in a big staircase.
Sure.
There wasn't anything tightly. So that really tight kick drum, you didn't have any of that. It was more room sound. And so I show a little bit how to get that with certain plugins and stuff like this. But then we really go, the rest of the course is musical. Of course, we're going into certain VSTs, which, to answer your question, do you need a specific VST? No. I show that you can use Native Instruments, Superior Drummer, Modo drums from IK Multimedia. You can use whatever you want. However, the one that we're using most through the course is Superior Drummer, because it is, frankly, superior. Since I started using this, I'm blown away. And they have one expansion called the Eddie Kramer expansion. Now, Eddie Kramer, Hendrix, and also Beatles, I don't know. Eddie Kramer did all the classic stuff. I think he did Zeppelin. So when Eddie Kramer gives us drum kits, you bet your sweet ass that they are as authentic classic rock as they can be. And that collection, without really doing anything, you call up a drum kit, you're done. You can go straight stereo out of Superior Drummer, and what you have is a kick-ass sound. So that's what we're primarily using.
Right on. Can you show us a clip of that right here? Let's go to that.
Huge ass kick. That is a 26-inch. We have a super sensitive that we picked. They are the right sounds right there.
I like what I hear.
That might be too heavy at that speed.
Yeah.
That's okay, because obviously it's dependent, swing is dependent on the speed. So that's
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, we can speed it up.
Let me tell you why I think you should buy this. I've been programming drums for 30 years. I've been hired by people from all around the globe. I'm not bragging, I'm just giving you some
this is true.
credibility.
This actually really fucking happened.
I've been hired to do drums for the whole albums. We're not going to say who. And I've done loads of albums that nobody complained about the drums. So I know my shit. Okay, this is why we have the complete guide to drum programming. This is why you like the course. On day one of our session with Felix, which is pretty much what you're buying here in the Classic Rock package, at the end of the day, I probably got 20 to 25%, not exaggerating, better than I was that morning. The stuff I learned, even stuff I'm teaching in the original course about being conservative with your ghost notes, I'm kind of lying to you, because when you have someone like Felix, all of a sudden we see where he plays his ghost notes, and I'm like, I have to revise what I taught.
Yeah, well, funny you mention that. I was just going through the Jimi Hendrix section there, and Felix is like doing a Mitch Mitchell kind of beat. And, I can see you guys, you're looking for the right ghost. You're looking for the right articulation on the hats, that kind of thing, because it's not closed, it's not open. It's got this kind of dirty zing to it, a little sizzle to it. And you're like, okay, what's going on here? What's going on here? And it's like, it's pretty cool to see you, trying to refine that and watch Felix do his thing as an example. That was really fucking cool. And again, this is the kind of stuff people need to learn. In order to make your drums sound more realistic when you're programming them, there has to be that kind of subtlety thrown in. Otherwise, it's just going to sound robotic.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much we learned from each other. He learned about where he's placing his notes, for example. And sometimes, actually, there is no grid that you can use. We're learning, for example, you're doing a certain shuffle, but then in between that shuffled note and the downbeat, he places a second hit. Or where is that? You visually kind of have to place it smack in the middle. There is no grid that you can do. And when you do that, all of a sudden, oftentimes we're like, and none of it is scripted. He just gives us a beat, and we together find it and try to come up with a little rule to give you. We, of course, can't give you everything Bonham has done. But if you want to sound like Bonham, what do you do with the kick drum and the snare? What are the kind of grooves? And we hone in on like one aspect. The Who, for example, we only talk about very tense hi-hat and what he's doing. But then, of course, the fills. Da-da-da-gung-gung-gung. Do that again. Aerosmith, we of course go into the big time shuffle, and with Aerosmith, really interesting, which I also didn't know, super shuffle, and we hone in what that is. But then every break, as robotic and straight as you can make it. So the whole song's shuffling like crazy, and then he goes over the toms literally like a robot in straight eighth. And that makes the Aerosmith sound. And when you do this, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, that's how that sounds. And obviously when you have those bands that just guides, take that, you don't want to do an Aerosmith song, you don't want to do a Led Zeppelin song. Take that info and put it in your own music, and all of a sudden you will find ways to make it alive. I'm very proud of the last lesson, which is I had Felix play a whole song, just drums, Then I wrote a whole song on top of it. In this case, it's a kind of Led Zeppelin tune. That's wrong. AC/DC tune. It's kind of an AC/DC tune. What am I saying? And then I go, the whole song is produced, and then I go mute the actual drums. And I'm not cheating. I'm not looking at the video. I'm just listening. And I'm reprogramming the whole thing. And the goal cannot be to sound 100% exactly like him, because you know what? It's his kit, his hands, the mics in the room, all do it, by the way, in a good room, all that. So it cannot sound in terms of the production like the actual drums in the room, because that would be a goal that is extremely hard to achieve. But the performance and the feel should be there.
Sure.
And it is. I'm amazed how with a mouse on the screen I could capture his performance. Bottom line, and Glenn is the first one to tell you, when you have a Felix Lehrmann and good mics and a good room, don't program the drums. Don't be stupid.
Oh yeah, exactly. But I mean, like that again. That's a great person to kind of base what you're programming off of. Okay, so let's cut to the chase here, though. We've got this thing premiering here for Black Friday. What's this gonna cost people?
I mean, it's worth about $1 billion. Before we go into price, the one thing I want to say, we got 6 freaking cameras on the drums.
Oh yeah. So
when we talk,
how long is this course? What are we getting for our money here?
We get what you're getting is, I wanted to do little add-on courses. Well, fuck that. It's 5 hours.
Oh God.
It's 9 lessons. It's 5 hours, which is a good value. We have it in full 4K. Why would you care? Because it looks fucking sick. That's why. We got 6 cameras on the drums. We have a kick cam. We have a hi-hat cam for every detail. We have a camera from the back where you see the whole thing. We have a front cam that looks good. We have a beautiful cam on Felix when he's talking, because he's a pretty man to look at. By the way, big thank you to the team, Robin, Antonio, who spent a week with us and did all that stuff. Those guys worked their asses off. You are amazing. And the thing that I'm super proud of is sometimes there's fast sections. And Felix doesn't really know, do I do 1 or 2? He just plays it. So we have a 4K 100 frames a second slow-mo cam.
Oh, nice.
And any section that's faster, we slow down 4 times at quarter speed. And the details you start seeing about... Impossible for me to actually mimic that. You really understand that the details that the drummer does when you slow it down. But we can get a feel for what's happening. And that slow-mo cam, to me, super interesting. We have that several times here, especially on the fills, and I'm very proud of these slow-mo shots. So, for how much are we selling this for? A steal. Didn't you say a steal? You're like, Henning, you don't need to make money. Just share your wisdom with the world for way too little money. Is that what you told me?
Something to that effect, yeah. Okay, so pricing on this, regular price is going to be $97. And we're going to have a very special introductory rate for this thing for Black Friday and the weekend. For the next 3 days, this is going to be going for only $79. So if you already grabbed Henning's original course, you love what he did there, I'd say grab this and grab it now while it's still on sale. And if you haven't got it yet and you want to learn something about programming classic rock drums, grab it because this is a killer fucking deal.
And if you don't have the original course, I think we're going to offer a mega super we're so stupid pack.
Hang on. Yes, I wrote all this shit down, actually. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Now I know where it is. It's on my phone. Now, I actually wrote down the prices so I wouldn't screw this up. And I remembered, hey, guess what? I actually did write this down. So if you didn't get Henning's original course, which went for $150, you can get the whole bundle for $197 this weekend. That'll get you Complete Guide to Programming Drums. It'll get you the Classic Rock course, and we're also throwing the blues course in with it as well as part of that bundle.
If you're a guitar player, that's a good course. I mean, I'm not saying that because I made it. I'm saying it because I want the money. I mean, because it's good.
Yeah.
That's why.
So like the blues course on its own is $79. This one's $79 as well. So what is that? That's like $160 right there just for those two courses, plus $150. Wow. Yeah. So you're looking at about $300. So the fact you're getting over $100 off on the entire bundle is pretty freaking sweet. Once again, that's a limited time deal only for Black Friday. So I'd highly recommend grabbing that now.
I like the original course and I'm very proud of it. I can't stress enough how I think this elevates the concept of what I presented in the original course. First of all, the production quality is freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, you did an amazing job with it, man. I've been watching it all morning, and I'm like, wow, this is really fucking cool.
You'd be hard pressed to find a course like this, whether it's the cameras, the colors, the sharpness, vocal mic understandability. You need to be able to actually understand people. But the information, the banter between us. This course in that way between a programmer and a drummer doesn't exist. If it existed, it wouldn't exist in that quality. I am extremely proud of it, and I know that it will push anyone's programming ability a whole lot further. You will go into it saying, my beats sound pretty good. You will come out of it saying, I know what to do now.
Oh, that's fucking fantastic, man. No, I thought it was really cool. Like I said, even I was excited about it, and I'm a guy who hates programmed drums, and I'm like, okay, this one's actually kind of fucking cool. This is kind of taking things off the grid a little bit, and actually might be making music. What are the odds?
Well, you hate programmed drums because people don't have these courses and people don't go through this stuff. They just put everything 127, everything on the grid, and they say, "Here's my groove." That's not a groove. That's a robot. I understand why someone would say that sounds horrible. Okay,
yep, exactly.
And even with the course, you have to hone your skills. You have to go and do it and do it and do it. And actually, we have a great forum. The Spectre Digital VIP Facebook page. If you are on Spectre Digital, you have bought a course that allows you to join the VIP page, where people discuss things. They discuss drum maps, how to do it in Reaper, and anyone posting their progress there. Someone just posted a thing they did and said, I love the course, I've done this. I listened to it, commented a bit, said way too much reverb on the toms and stuff like this. They fixed their mix. So we're with you through the process. We don't just take your money and leave you alone. We communicate with you, and I think that's a really cool thing about the Spectre digital community.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. Come hang out. Yeah, if you've got a course, come hang out. We want to hear from you. All right, so there you have it. That's Henning's new Programming Classic Rock Drums course. I think it's really freaking cool. Gotta say, thank you so much to Felix Factor for coming out and being part of that. I think that's really offering something unique you're not going to find anywhere else. And the fact that you can get it for only $79 or part of the whole package deal for $197 is really fucking fantastic. That's a lot of courses. That's a lot of knowledge. By Grapthar's Hammer, the savings. Links in the description below. Go get it now. Hope to see you on the Spectre Digital VIP page as well. Thanks so much for watching. Henning, thanks so much for being on the show. And until next time, get out there and make some metal, you magnificent bastards.
No. Get out there and make some classic kind of rock.
And until next time, get out there and program your drums better. Grab the course. See you later.